The objective of McCartney's War Machine was unwritten narrative. They experimented with media to make an understanding of what they did play through psychological circuitry. Never mind that it was a hoax. Never mind that Lennon Houdini'd. Never mind that playing got off the ground in the age of the great dictators. McCartney had his storyline, and they were going to sell it by hook or by crook. In his Januous continuum, this destroyer of a world leers at me that I was the man who could have been king if only I had saved John Lennon and been elevated to Trumpetunianism. They were never about to allow that to happen. They had observers in place. They used neurological agents. They braid of their experiment on songs like Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey. I was the rhesus white suck, and it was a sociological formula. So what they do is, without elaborating very effectively, which would be a signifier of actual education, without elaborating very effectively on their plan to build an ark, they claim that further victims are collateral damage for the virus that they themselves released. This is important to understand. The mogul, Pregopal, himself was in on the AIDS attack. But he declares that he is the victim, so he gets collateral damage by further removing mass populations through dirties like COVID. I would have thought, I sat at Sound Mental Health for 12 years explaining the truth about the AIDS attack, to the point where they just sat there and looked at me and said that I would never amount to anything. Then they poisoned me in the mouth and released COVID. You would think by the time they'd done all that, people who were concerned for example, the children of Maui or the children locked in Uvalde would, in fact, wonder why there wasn't a rational typographical representation of my testimony, why there wasn't a solid review of the evidence that gaslighting was the fingerprint of seamless ligation in COVID. Because there's plenty of evidence of gaslighting. For example, there's the walk. I couldn't understand what the guy was saying. He was scribbling it on the bus and winking, sort of, going to the military school. The COVID question mark tulip from back in Pittsburgh. Well, there was no such fandango. The queers who were helping the people who exterminated the queers said, "Bosh, we were building momentum." Well, they've got some more momentum. COVID was more momentum. It was a bonus attack. Maui is Operation Momentum. What's collateral damage about momentum? You see, the people who perpetrated it got to claim they were the victims. That was the whole function of Lennon's Houdini. And the stupids in Seattle actually think they're so cyber hypnotized by their own stupidity, that they actually think that threatening their own children with a nuclear revenge in the name of Yoko Ono is liberating them from opposition to Revolution Number 9. Is that what it is? It's strange to sit there knowing all that, having done all that, having represented all that, having written Barista Gate, for heaven's sakes, and to have the implacable Green Party staring at you, seething with an intelligence and a mind and a venom and a terroristic direction all its own, saying that your attempts to warn were unpardonable. Your failure to pull the plug on Lenin's Houdini meant that you were out of your senses following Lenin, and therefore are to blame that he is dead. You could have been king. Could have been king, huh? In the USA. Wow.